what's up? I'm sitting around the house. It's Saturday afternoon. It's like 75 degrees outside, windy. I'm bored, nothing really on. Like, what am I doing sitting here? I have all kinds of cool projects to get to. So I went ahead, went through some of my stock, and I found a real cool piece that I want to do for my next lapidary project here. Let me show you what we're going to do, and I'll just run through the process real quick, and then we'll go ahead and get started. So this is the piece of petrified wood that I had found not too long ago. But it's a real cool shape that it has. Lots of cool colors that's in it. So I thought, you know, when I first found it, I knew what I wanted to do with it, polishing wise. So what better time than now? Saturday afternoon, sunny, windy outside. Perfect opportunity to go ahead and knock this out. So I'm gonna go ahead and smooth this out here, polish it up, and I'm gonna go ahead and take care of the other side now. I'm not sure yet if I'm gonna, I was thinking to leave one side natural and the other side kind of grind away. And that's kind of what it'll look like sitting there on display. But imagine it all polished out, and then the one side right here will be all polished out as well. And I'm not sure just yet if I'm going to do the side or not, but I know I'm going to do both the top and bottom. And we are going to use this time 2 additional steps. The last couple projects I've done, I've only had to use the 7 diamond grip pads. This time I'm including the 2 steel diamond grinding discs. We have the heavy grinding disc and the medium. The heavy, you can tell it's a little bit rounded up. It's been used a little bit. I'm gonna need to get another one here soon. And this one I haven't used too much of. So we're gonna get some use of it today. I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna first do the heavy, then the medium, and that'll get rid of all the real bigger edges and stuff with the steel discs. And then I'm gonna go ahead and use these other pads. They're even different colors to represent the different grit. But that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and do these 2 steps, then these 7 steps. Again, the 7 pads is going to be the 50, 100, 200, 400, 800, 1500, and a 3000. 50 being the roughest, 3000 being the smoothest. We're going to go ahead and get started on this. I'm going to go ahead and show you the quick process. Just turn this current Velcro pad for the Velcro disc. We're not going to use that right now. We're going to use a steel disc, and you just screw it right on. Simple as that. Of course, it's a little bit easier with 2 hands, but I'm trying to film at the same time. And once we're on, we're on. We already have the water on. See how it sprays out all the different directions while you're grinding away. You know, it's adjustable nozzle for what kind of pressure you're looking at. Then it has the RPM all the way from 1000 RPM to 5000 RPM. We're just going to be between 1000 and 2500 by the time we're done. So we're going to go ahead and get started now, and we'll bring you right back once we're finished with the first steel disc and see what we're looking like. All right. That is the end of the first steel grit diamond disc. I went ahead and did both sides. We had an unfortunate accident in the process, which when doing these things it can happen. It's a sad moment. But you overcome them and you just move on with the project. You make the changes where the changes need to be made. So let me show you what had happened. Oh yes. While you see the steel disc, it creates so much vibration and havoc that if you have deep fractures in a piece of petrified wood or a stone, the odds are it's going to break. Yeah, it broke, but it was a clean break. You can see it looks like it was already fractured quite a ways through and just barely holding on. I was able to get a lot of grinding on both sides of it before it had broke. I just moved on with it and went ahead and continued grinding on it. So we will do the before and after pictures when we're all done here. Show you the extreme difference from the beginning to the end. But this is so far what we're looking at. What we are looking at with the first. That's just the first of 2 steel diamond disc pads, or steel grit diamond discs. That's the first of the 2. I went ahead and did both sides, like I said. I'm going to go ahead and hit it with the other of the 2, and then go ahead and when I'm done with the second one, I'll bring you back and show you what it's looking like. Then we'll go ahead and hit it with the 7 pads and see just how colorful and shiny we can get this piece to be. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and call it good for today. Sun's going down, it's getting a little chilly out, and I'll continue tomorrow. But for you, it'll just be the next scene. Alright guys, thank you very much. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. And I'll continue knocking out these cool videos, what I think are cool. Hopefully you guys do too. Alright, we'll be back. Alright, that is it for the steel grinding discs. That is the coarse grinding disc and the medium grinding disc. We went ahead and did both of those. And now we have left, hold the button in, release that. Now we have left the 7 pads. Swapping out the steel grinding disc, put in the Velcro pad holder. And then we will start off with the 50 grit. And just line it up by hand. Try to center it best as possible. And then let's check this out. This is our piece so far. That is the step 1 coarse grit and step 2 medium grit steel grinding disc. And then now we're on to the 7 diamond softer pads to finish getting out all these micro scratches and get it a nice fine polish. We're going to go ahead and start hitting it now with the pads. We will come back halfway through. We'll see. We're going to go ahead and start the first one now. I'll come back after pad 3, so right before we start the 4th one, and we'll show you what 3 steps of 50 grit, 100 grit, and then 200 grit, and then we'll check it out and see where we're at. Thanks for joining. Alright. Awesome. That is it for step 4. That is the 400 grit. So we did the 100 grit, 200 grit, or excuse me, the 400 grit, 100 grit, 200 grit, and 400 grit. And this is what we're looking like so far. Of course, it's drying pretty quick, about 90 degrees today. So this is what it looks like wet. Very cool. Bottom of it. And then we're going to let it dry real quick, and I'll show you what it looks like dry after stage 4 with the 400 grit. And then we'll show you what it looks like after stage 7, the final polishing. Alright, check it out. This is what she looks like dry. 3 more steps to go and we will be completed. Check it out. Check it out. Remember, the front part of her broke off when we were finishing the grinding stage with the heavy steel grinding discs. Kind of cool though, because now that it's broken off, you can completely see the pattern on the inside. Way cool. But that's what it looks like in its dry state. So you can start to see the colors. You can start to see the colors now, but it still doesn't have that polished shine. The next 3 steps, 800 grit, 1500 grit, and the 3000 grit will put that high polished shine to this. This is going to be way cool. You know, would have been cool if it was the whole piece, but still, that's pretty cool looking, I think. Awesome. Okay, we're going to go ahead and we're going to knock out the next 3 steps. I'm not going to bring you back from after each step. I'm going to go ahead and do the next 3 steps, and the next time you see me, we'll be checking out the finished product. All right, let's get to it. I wanted to show you guys a trick that I do before I do the last 2 polishing stages, and that is when you're doing the grinding on it and it's wet, it's hard to see the fine scratches that are still there until it's dry. Then you can see what's left that you need to get out before you start polishing. And let me show you what I'm talking about. On this piece, I'm ready to start polishing, but you see on the left and right there, excuse me, you see those little scratches right there in the middle, and then on this side there's a few scratches right there. I just kind of go over it on the top here, right there in the middle. There's some scratches right there. Everywhere else is pretty solid, pretty good. There's a few right there in the middle there, just some real tiny scratches. But before you start the fine polish, you want to get all those scratches out. The thing is, when it's wet, it's hard to see if you've gotten the scratches or not. So check out, this is what I do. You get a Sharpie and you color in, sorry about that, you color in where the scratches are. Alright, just color it in where the scratches are. I'll flip it over on this side, and up here the scratches were right in there. The purpose of that, obvious. When the scratches are out, the Sharpie is gone. You will have no more black marks, and you don't need to let it stop and dry to see that. So now, this is the bottom side where I saw those other scratches. So now I'm ready to go back. Depending on how deep the scratches are will depend on how many grit steps backwards I will go, and repeat those steps just in those areas there to get rid of those scratches. Then I'll hit up the polishing steps. So it looks like step 5 is the last grit stage before the polishing stages. So I'm going to go back to step 4 and repeat step 4 and 5 in just these areas where I color with the Sharpie, which each area, complete step 4 and 5, probably take me 10-15 minutes, not long, to get this perfect. Why go through all that trouble and not have a perfect outcome, you know what I mean? So that's what we're going to do, and then I'm going to hit the 2 polishing steps. Before I start the polishing steps, I'll show you the outcome from this next procedure. Alright, check it out. Worked out great. We got out all the marks. All the fine micro scratches are out, or we say all the scratches and fine micro scratches are out of it. It's dried off now. You can see all the black Sharpie is completely out of it. Only thing left on this is the macro micro scratches and micro scratches. The next 2 steps which is going to be the pre-polish and polish 1500 grit pad and the 3000 grit diamond pads. We're going to go ahead and knock those 2 steps out and come back and show you the difference between this right here before polished and then the 2 polishing stages. We'll be right back in just a second. Check this out. It is completely done. We finished step 6 and step 7, the pre-polish and final polish. Look at this. It is completely dried off and now has a really beautiful high gloss shine. Really cool. Patterns on the bottom, the bark, colors. So, you know, every art piece you give a name to. Bigger pieces like this I like to give a name to. So this piece, this is really cool the way this piece turned out too. Remember in the beginning it was one whole piece and it broke during the main grinding. I went ahead, finished this piece off, and I've noticed a lot of heart shapes that are in this piece. In the very middle there, that cool heart shape. On the bottom here, in the very middle you see a little heart inside the gray area. Pretty cool. And then, completely by accident, the bottom turned out looks just like a heart. Awesome. So what I ended up doing, I went ahead and polished the other piece as well that broke off from it. Because I wanted to keep that complete bark look all around it. So I figured might as well polish the piece that broke. Big enough. So it's one piece. So this piece I figured I would name Broken Heart of Stone because of the hearts that's in it and the heart on the bottom of it and the fact that it's broken and it's petrified wood or agatized wood. So there you have the name, Broken Heart of Stone. Pretty cool. I love this piece. Turned out better than I expected. Thank you for watching, guys. This was a lapidary video of petrified wood. Gonna continue making these. Subscribe if you haven't. Thank you for watching.